I only really told you about two of my lives, but I've had many lives. I've had so many lives. And there have been so many lessons along the way. I would say my number one. Thank you for the invitation. It has been nice chatting with you already and getting to know you and your story. So thank you for being curious about my story, and I'm excited to share more with you today. My name is Angie. I live here in Cusco, Peru. I'm from the United States. And here, some of the locals call me La Gringa Cusqueña.
I
Um,
love that.
I have a boutique travel agency called Peru Increíble. I moved to Peru 3 years ago, originally born and raised in Virginia. And I moved around the East Coast a little bit, and I spent my last 7 years in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, before falling in love with Peru and moving here and starting a brand new chapter. So um, that's a very, very short version of who I am, but that's the surface level. I'm sure we'll go a lot deeper.
I love that. Yes, I didn't know about how people call you there. It's nice.
La gringa costeña. I like my
I think
nickname.
that's okay. Yeah, yeah. So let's start from the beginning. Like, where do you think the roots came from? Like, how did you fall in love with traveling or a curiosity of like just like exploring the world?
It started very young. My mom is from Colombia. She is from Cali, Colombia. And
Yeah,
I grew up going and spending time with my family in Colombia. Usually every other summer I would spend there with my grandparents.
yeah,
And I think just being able to experience a totally new culture as a child
yeah,
piqued my interest. And then once I got into like high school, I started traveling a little bit more. Went to London, I went to France, um, I went to Canada. Like those were the first trips that I took. And then I started exploring other parts of the world. I mean, I've been to almost 30 countries between Africa and Europe and South America.
yeah,
Um, I have not yet really been to Asia except for the Asian side of Istanbul, Turkey.
yeah.
So I don't really think that that counts, but I would really love to go to Australia and New Zealand and Asia. That side of the world, I have not put a dent in yet. So, um, but I think that for me, travel started very young, and it really opened my eyes to how different other parts of the world are and how beautiful it is to learn from other
Yeah.
cultures, other customs. And now it's a big part of my life, and I like to help curate really meaningful, special travel experiences for other people when they want to come to Peru.
I love it. I haven't been also to Asia and all that part of the world, so maybe we can explore together
That would be
that
awesome.
part of
Let's
the
do it.
world. How would you describe your travel style? And did your travel style have like changed or evolved over time or not really?
Absolutely. It has evolved. I think when I first became a traveler, besides going to Colombia and visiting my family, because that was a very like
Yeah,
family setting, more low
yeah,
key, hanging out in the house. But when I started first exploring other parts of the world, I hit all the major tourist attractions.
mm,
I oftentimes would travel to like fancy hotels or, wanting to
yeah,
spend like a beach holiday, really low key. Now I'm much more easygoing. I love to adventure. I
mhm,
love hiking. I'm a little bit more adventurous at this point. Like I want to see the nature, and I want to learn more about the culture.
yeah,
And I'm a foodie. I am vegetarian, but I love to explore like really
mm,
unique foods and I like to just see what other cultures are about. So for me, the culture and the nature are more
yeah,
important to me than probably when I first started traveling.
yeah. Me too. Yes, I think that it's also something similar that we have. See, we are ready to go together to
Let's
Asia
go
and
to Asia
explore.
together. But also,
Yeah,
I think I'm not so bougie anymore. Like I can easily stay in a hostel and be happy. Like for me, The hotel doesn't matter. Of course, I like nice accommodations from time to time. And honestly, with my travel agency, we work with 3-star and above. So 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. And
Yeah.
we provide very nice accommodations for people. But for me, the hotel isn't part of the experience for me at this point. I'm okay with staying in a budget friendly place to be able to
Yeah.
splurge more on like fine dining experiences or going to these remote places that are sometimes harder to get
Mhm.
to. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely been an evolution in the way that I travel.
I love that. Yes. And the other day that we were talking, you were sharing a little bit of your story, and I loved it because I felt like you kind of lived two different lives or something. And I felt very like seen because lots of times I say like I feel like I live like several lives in this life, right? It feels like that. And I would love us to chat a little bit about that story. Like mostly, I guess, to talk about pivots or dreams or following that inner voice that sometimes is scary to say, okay, let's do this because it doesn't feel like safe at the beginning. It's just to step into something that you are just about to discover. So
Mhm.
should we talk
Yeah,
a
well,
bit
I
about
only really told you about two of my lives, but I've had many lives. I've had so many lives.
that?
And there have been so many lessons along the way. I would say my number one life lesson in general is that growth is uncomfortable. If you feel discomfort, it usually means you're about to expand, right? There's not growth without discomfort. So, um, yeah, it was certainly scary to up and leave the United States where I lived my whole life and I was very comfortable and I was working as an account executive for a major corporation and I was making really good money, but it was soul sucking. It wasn't fulfilling. It was so many hours of my life working for the
Yeah.
man, making money for someone else when I knew that I'm a very passionate person and I'm completely
Mhm.
capable of anything that I put my mind to. So, yeah, it was really scary to leave a very comfortable life, but that's growth. And I had this opportunity to start this travel agency. And also, I was hosting plant medicine retreats for the first few years that I was here in Peru. We recently
Mhm.
just stopped hosting plant medicine retreats because unfortunately, the spiritual master that we were working with passed away.
Mhm.
And that's a whole other story. But
Mhm.
I basically took a huge risk. I followed a dream, I followed my passion, and I put a lot on the line. A
Yeah.
stable life to pursue a dream by myself. I moved to a country where I didn't even speak the language. I'm still currently learning Spanish, but
Yeah.
español está mejorando todos los días, estoy practicando y bueno, yo puedo hablar, yo puedo comunicarme con la gente ahora. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I can actually communicate. When I moved here, really not speaking very much Spanish at all. And that was, again, growth, right? Because it was uncomfortable to come to
Mhm.
a culture that
Yes.
wasn't mine, speaking a
Yes.
language that I wasn't very good at.
Totally.
But yeah, I had a whole corporate career in the United States. I dabbled in a lot of different things. I worked in restaurants when I was in my 20s. Well, from my teenage years to my 20s. I was a paralegal for a little while, working for a lot of different attorneys doing their paperwork and organizing things for the court system.
Yeah.
And from there, I started working in the technological space in the corporate world, like IT work,
Yeah.
supporting different hospitals and outpatient clinics. It was honestly super boring. It's boring to talk about, so I will spare you. But I learned a lot because my final
Yeah.
job in the United States, I was there for 11 years and I held 4 different positions. So I was promoted and then promoted again and then promoted again. And so
Amazing.
it felt good to be able to kind of climb the corporate ladder and show
Yeah.
myself that, wow, I am capable of anything that I put my mind to. And I learned a lot of
Uh-huh.
leadership skills, project management skills. I learned a
Yes.
lot from that old life that I actually get to carry into this current life, which is a lot
Yes.
more passion filled because I'm building my own company, from the ground up.
Yes. Yes. I totally agree. Like sometimes we do things that at the moment feel like, I don't know, that they are not really something that are making you happy or like are not your thing. But eventually, like if you can just detach from the moment and just focus on what you are doing, how you are like learning or doing something that you didn't know you could do before, and all those things, like I think, and that you can bring all those things to the life that you want to build. I think it adds, right? Like it's not that terrible or not that bad that you went through that moment. It needs to be a moment. You need to know that you don't want to stay if it's not making you happy, right? But it's, I don't know, that you can take the lessons with you, I think. Right.
Exactly. I think a lot of people are afraid to step out of their comfort zone, but I actually get a thrill out of leaving my comfort zone. Oh, it's going to make me
Yeah.
uncomfortable. Okay, let me do this.
Yes, yes. My question is, during that period that you were transitioning maybe from one life to another, did something happen that really show you, yes, you are in the right path, in the right way, like something special, maybe?
Actually, just I ended a 10-year relationship. I was married in the United States, and my partner and I decided that we wanted very different lives. We separated with a lot of love. We were actually going through a baby journey. I was trying to get pregnant,
Yeah,
um, and we that was something that we were not aligned on. And also,
yeah,
I was building this life in Peru for us. I thought that maybe we could have a family here in Peru, and turns out that this was my dream, and I needed to pursue this by myself, and that's okay.
yeah,
But yeah, I think that relationship ending was a major motivator for me to actually make the move here because originally my thought was I'm going to host retreats here. I'm going to bring people to Peru and, visit 2 or 3 times a year.
yeah,
But I didn't have plans to move here just yet. I was thinking it was going to be years down the line. But then
yeah,
once my ex and I separated, I was like, the time is now. The time is right now to actually make the
yeah,
life move. And I'm really happy that I listened to my intuition. And I almost felt like when the opportunity presents itself and it's something that you feel excited yet scared
yeah.
about, that's the sign you have to do it.
I love
Otherwise,
that.
I would rather try something and it not be successful than always wonder, what if? What if I would have done that? I don't want to wonder what if when I am, in my final
Yes,
days of life. I don't want to say, I wish I would have done that. I want
yes,
to die feeling like I did everything that I felt the burning desire to do. There's
yes.
nothing that I didn't do that I wanted to do. So yeah, I
I
say
love that picture.
if there's like a piece of advice that I would give someone, if it scares you, do it.
I love that. Yes, 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 yes. I love that. So this is just for fun. Is there a place or an experience at the top of your wish list at the moment?
I would love to go to Japan. And I think that's
Japan.
really because I see a lot of people visiting Japan and I really respect their culture.
Mhm.
They're a very respectable culture. I love how much they love and care about each other.
Yeah.
Um, the kids can travel from place to place by themselves, and it's like up to the elders to watch over and protect and make sure that they're safe. They all look
Yeah.
out for each other. They have like a very interesting culture in their subway system. There's no talking. Like you won't see anyone on their phone because
Mhm.
that's a time to be quiet and respectful of others.
Yeah.
Um, I just think that Japanese culture is so unique in the world, and also it's very modern. which is pretty cool, especially because here I am in Cusco, which is pretty antiquated compared to the United States. It's like a step
Yes.
back in time here. So
Yeah.
yeah, Japan just looks really cool. Um, I think that's probably at the top. That and doing a safari. I would love to go to like
Oh,
Kenya or
yeah.
South Africa or Botswana. And
Yeah.
um,
That would be
I
amazing.
yeah, there's safari and then there's also this giraffe sanctuary that I really want to go to. I
Yeah,
believe
I saw it
in
too.
Kenya.
Yeah.
So that would be my top two, Japan and then African safari. How
I
about
love
you?
them. I also want to do the safari, but I guess that still at the top of my list, Norway and see the Northern Lights. Yeah.
Mm,
I can't pronounce it properly, but I love them. I
the
want to
northern.
see them. Northern Lights. Yes, I want to. I don't know. I guess that I'm looking for a very magical moment, like I can't explain. I just going to see it and feel it and cry. Those kind of things that have no really explanation. I don't know.
Well, you can see the northern lights in Alaska. You can see them in Iceland. I mean, you
Yeah,
can see them in other places, but Norway is definitely a
true.
good place to see them as well.
I don't know why Norway. Like, yes, I have. Yes,
You
you're
have a
right.
soul calling to Norway. You should follow it.
Yeah, yeah. At least, as you said, like to not stay with the thing inside. Like, what if I did it, right?
Exactly.
Like,
You don't want to think at the end of your days, what if I went to Norway? No, you've got to go. You
yeah,
have to go.
yeah, yes, I have. So I want to talk about Peru Increíble because before we connected, I saw the site and I got very curious. Well, I don't know if people know, but I am from Peru, so that also made me more curious to see, to talk with you and to see what Peru Increíble was about and the things that you were hosting. But can I read? I'm going to read a quote here in the page that I loved it. It says, "The best journeys in life are those that answer questions you never thought to ask." Beautiful. I love it. I love it. So I would just love for you to share what Peru Increíble is about, how it came to life, because I know there's a story there, and what feels personal for you about Peru Increíble.
Perú Increíble is my baby. I
Yeah.
co-founded the company with my business partner, Abraham, who is Peruvian. He's from Cusco. And he was actually my tour guide the very first time I ever came to Cusco
Mhm.
in 2018. And I had this immediate connection to him. I really admired his knowledge and his passion about the culture, about the sacred sites that we were visiting, and
Yeah.
we connected. I was with a group of 7 people, and I naturally am a leader, and so I was kind of the leader of the group, and so I did all of the communication on behalf of the group with Abraham, and we just became very close over our few days that we had together in the Cusco region.
Mhm.
And I had asked him the day that we were going to Machu Picchu, we were on the bus on our way up to Machu Picchu ruins. And I asked him if he knew anyone that hosted authentic ayahuasca ceremonies. I didn't want to drink the medicine on that trip because I knew that I hadn't prepared my body and I also didn't have the time. And
Yeah.
he actually questioned me. He said, "What are your intentions with Mother Ayahuasca?" And I really
Wow.
appreciated that he asked me
Yeah.
that because he wanted to make sure that I had the right intentions.
Yeah.
And I said, I have a lot of things that I need to work through. I want to be the best version of myself. And I feel like this is the medicinal experience that I have been looking for. So he ended up reaching out to his spiritual master, Saul, and
Mm.
asking if he could give us a coca leaf reading, which, if you don't know what a coca leaf reading is, basically a shaman or a spiritual master will take the coca leaves from the coca plant, which is a sacred plant here in the Andes Mountains. And basically, they use the leaves as a tool to connect to the spirit realm. And they can give an intuitive reading, almost like a diagnosis of your life. So Saul gave me and three other people that I was traveling with coca leaf readings after Machu Picchu. And he said some of the most specific things about my life that I was like, wow, this man has a real connection to the spirit realm. He is definitely who I want to come back and drink the medicine with. I trusted him. I have a
Yeah.
very strong intuition and I can read people's energy. And Saul seemed like a very pure, honest man. And I ended up coming back to Peru 11 months later in 2019, and I drank ayahuasca 3 times. And in my first ceremony, I saw and felt the connection between me, Saul, the shaman, and Abraham,
That's
mi
great.
socio, my business partner. And I saw that they're my brothers, that we have worked together in previous lifetimes. We have like this eternal bond. And then in my second ceremony, I saw visions of my life in Peru. I saw visions of the construction of a temple. I saw myself
Amazing.
hosting retreats, plant medicine retreats with Abraham and Saul. And in my third ceremony, I felt a lot of my purpose to love, create, inspire, motivate. I saw that everything and anything is possible, that there are infinite versions of me, just like there are infinite versions of you and
Yes.
everyone. And anything that we put our mind to, we can achieve, which is why I knew that if the opportunity presented itself for me to move to Peru, to host plant medicine retreats,
Yeah.
to work with Abraham and Saul, it was possible because everything is possible.
Yeah. I love it.
So 6 months after this retreat, which was very profound and life-changing, the pandemic started and the whole world was shut down. And Abraham called me a couple months after the pandemic started, and he said, Hermana, you had visions of a temple being constructed. Saul and I are talking about building a temple in the Sacred Valley. Do you really want to work with us? And that was a pivotal moment in my life. That is when I made the decision immediately. And I said, yes, absolutely.
Nice.
Because I remember what it felt like in the ceremony. I remember feeling that that was like the most fulfilling life. And that was like a fork in the road. I could have said, no, I'm trying to have a baby.
Yeah.
My life is a little bit busy right now. I don't really have the time to dedicate to this project. But instead, I
Yeah.
said, yes, I want to be a part of this with you. And that's where I chose the life in Peru over a steady marriage with having a family. I thought that it was all going to happen, but I realized that I chose this life and I'm really happy. And at this point, I don't even know if I want kids. Everything has changed. I
Yeah.
thought, because also in my second ceremony of ayahuasca, I had visions of me fully pregnant. I felt what it feels like to be like 9 months pregnant. I felt a baby inside of me. And then I saw my partner getting ready to pick up a 3 or 4 year old little girl with brown wavy hair. And I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God, I'm going to have a baby.
Yeah.
And I realize now that I experienced two different realities in that ceremony. I saw two different
That's crazy.
futures. And when the opportunity presented itself for Peru, instead of even consulting my partner and saying, hey, listen, this opportunity presented itself, I made the immediate decision. And I said, yeah,
Yeah.
I want to live in Peru and this is what's going to happen. And at the time, I thought it's all going to happen. I'm going to have a baby and my adorable little family is going to move to Peru one day. But that's not what happened. I chose Peru over the family life. And that's okay. I'm very much at
Yeah.
peace with how everything worked out. But it's very interesting that fork in the road moment where everything changed.
It is crazy. Yeah. Yeah. And what is it? It is very crazy. Like the first time that you told me about it, it was like, wow, like I can't even imagine how is it the ayahuasca, like participating in ayahuasca ceremony and that.
So Peru Increíble is a boutique travel agency. We're a small agency. We focus mostly on supporting local communities and sustainable tourism. So we try to work with the locals to give back. We curate very special private journeys for our clients. We don't do shared groups, so everything is private. We can handle everything, or we can handle just the tourists. Like we can handle domestic flights, the hotel accommodations, and all experiences. We can even handle all meals if our clients want us to. We can make it as hands-on or as hands-off as possible. But the most important thing is that when people book tours with us, we are like their family. They have contact 24/7 with us if they need anything. We've had clients in the past that have had medical emergencies and they let us know and we immediately go and get them and we take them to the hospital, and we are your family when you come here, and we make sure that everything is taken care of from the moment that you arrive until the moment that you leave. But the most important thing to us is supporting the local communities. We like to partner with, for instance, there's a place outside of Pisac called Amaru, and this is an indigenous community that we bring people to experience their indigenous culture. We get to show them their farming techniques and have a traditional Andean meal, a pachamanca, where they build an oven in the earth and they cook the food underground. So we like to show people the indigenous culture, and also just not even just the indigenous culture, but Peruvian culture. And that's what's most important to us, is that people come here and they get to really experience a different type of living and leave feeling empowered because they push themselves out of their comfort zone just to come to 3,400 meters above sea level, but then also just to experience a completely new way of life. And we just, we're about supporting our clients to the best of our ability and making things as memorable as possible.
I love it. And is there has been talking about the authentic experiences, has been one that surprised you when you just got to Cusco and experience all those authentic things?
I think the most impactful experience that I have had was when I went to Puno, and I've done this experience twice now. I went to Puno and started with visiting the Uros Islands, which is already really fascinating, this indigenous culture that lives on these man-made islands in the middle of the lake. And from there, going to Amantani Island and doing a homestay. So getting to actually live with a family for a night. And they cook a welcome lunch when you arrive. You get to enjoy dinner with them that night. You get to see how they do their textiles, and they show you part of their culture. They show you how the men make these intricately woven blouses for the woman when they want to propose, like very beautiful things about their culture. And then we have a breakfast with them the next day. But to see that they don't have access to running water and how precious water is as a resource, they only started getting solar power on their island a few years ago. So, just to have that appreciation for what we have in our everyday lives that are not common all over the world, like 70% of the world, I think, doesn't have access to running water, which I don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's like more than half of the world doesn't even have access to running water like most of the Western world does. So just to be able to experience that I think was the most meaningful and impactful in my life. And that's something that I really enjoy putting in the itineraries of my clients when they're willing. I love to include homestay experiences because it really opens people's minds to how blessed they are to live the lives that they live.
Like we open mind, heart, soul, everything when we get to know other realities and cultures. And I guess that's the most beautiful part of traveling, beyond seeing the places and eating different food. I think getting to understand what's outside our bubble, the bubble that we create for ourselves most times. I think that's the most inspiring and interesting part. And also to understand how little actions or decisions that we make really can make a difference also in others. And we are never that aware of that. Like we tend to think that our actions only impact us, and that's not true
Yeah,
at all.
it's the ripple effect.
Yeah, yeah, I like that word. Angie,
What?
it could be one lesson and one thing you really feel proud of yourself in this journey.
The lesson, and I'm going to repeat my answer from earlier because that's really the biggest lesson is that growth is uncomfortable. It is meant to be uncomfortable. It is
Yeah.
meant to push you out of your comfort zone. So that's the number one lesson. What I'm proud of is my resilience. I have gone through a lot of challenges and yet I keep pushing. I I think that started very young. This is something new that I have not shared with you, but I was diagnosed with a very rare bone disorder when I was 11 years old called severe torsional misalignment syndrome. And I ended up having to have a lot of surgeries. I actually had a total of 11 surgeries, seven of which were on my legs and my feet. And I spent some time in a wheelchair. I had to relearn how to walk as an adult. Um, well, as a teenager in my adolescence, I did not live a normal childhood because of this bone disorder and all of
Yeah.
the surgeries and the recovery. And then I had arthritis that I've had to manage, which is partially why I eat vegetarian. I eat very clean because I don't want inflammation in my body. And so I think that I'm really proud of everything that I've been able to overcome because I've had some real major obstacles that I think most people take for granted their health, for instance. And for me, having gone through really, really traumatic experiences with my body has made me want to exercise, want to practice yoga, want to meditate, want to eat clean. I am actually really grateful for those challenges that I experienced because it has shown me how important it is to take care of my temple. And that's what I'm proud of the most is my resilience.
I'm proud too. I'm proud too. Yeah, I didn't know, but I feel proud of you too. That's
Thank
amazing.
you. Thanks.
This is also just to get to know a bit about like Angie in a very like fun way. Do you have like a favorite Peruvian food, or is there a dish that when you receive people say you can't leave from Peru without trying this?
Well, like I mentioned, I am vegetarian, so I have my favorite vegetarian meals.
Yeah.
Chaufa de quinoa, I
Yeah.
love, and taku taku.
Okay.
Okay, and then
Okay,
as
those
far
are
as
good.
desserts go, I'm a sucker for alfajores. I love alfajores.
Oh, those are good.
I have a sweet tooth. I do love that's something that causes inflammation that I'm like, you know what? I eat so clean. I deserve this dessert.
Yeah.
But yeah, those
Have
would
you
be.
tried suspiro de limeña?
What is that?
Have you tried? Oh, then you need to come to Lima and sure. There's this dessert that is called suspiro de limeña. It's very sweet, but you know, like from time to time, you can have one. You
Now,
need
what
to
does it
come
taste
to
like?
Lima.
Describe it.
So it's like I don't know. It's made from, do you know leche condensada? I don't know how to call it in English. How do you call leche
Condensed milk.
condensada in English?
Condensed milk.
So condensed milk. Okay. I don't know, like the base is with that, so it's like very sweet, you can imagine. And there is like a merengue on the top, but and with like cinnamon. I don't know. It's like it's very sweet, but I like it. You need to
There's
try it.
nothing too sweet for me. I like sweet, so I'm sure I would love it. It sounds
You
good.
need to try it. Yes, yes, it's good. Your own experiences from your travel experiences. Do you have like one that you have like have a special place in your heart? One experience of your travels, of your trips?
I studied abroad in Morocco when I was in college,
Yeah.
and that was really powerful for me because, again, that was actually my first time ever having a homestay experience. One of my favorite things to offer with Peru Increíble is the homestay experience, either with the Amaru community or on Amantani Island or, anywhere in Arequipa. There's different homestay experiences here. But the reason why I love that so much is because I had my own personal homestay experience when I was in college and I studied abroad in Morocco.
Mhm.
I had two different homestay experiences, one with an Arabic family. And so that was interesting in itself. Like, for instance, the toilet, it's not a toilet that you sit on. It's a hole in the ground and you have to hover over it and go to the bathroom there. And right above it was the shower. So you go to the bathroom where you're showering too. It's humbling. And then
Yeah.
the second homestay experience that I did was with the Berber community, a Berber family, which is the indigenous people in Morocco. And
Yeah.
that was my first time experiencing a community that didn't have access to running water. And in my class, there were 18 of us that were
Yeah.
traveling. And we all stayed with the same Berber family. It was this big house, but very simple. And we all brought gifts. Like, our professor encouraged us, bring gifts for the families that you're going to stay with. The appreciation that they had for the wooden spoons that I brought and the toys for the kids, it was like the best feeling in the world to see their appreciation for something so small in my eyes. And we were split up out of a group of 18 people. We were split up into three groups of six, and we all had our duties. One was to cook for the group, one was to clean after, the cooking. And
Yeah.
then the third group, which I was part of, was to go and get water. And we had to wake up because this is in the middle of the Sahara Desert. And we had to wake up
Right.
at 5 o'clock in the morning and take the donkey a mile to the well, a couple kilometers. We had to walk to a well where we had these two jugs of, where we would put the water, and we had to
Yeah.
lower down the bucket and then raise the bucket and then fill it up. And then we had to do it over and over and over until both jugs of water were full. And it took like an hour to fetch the water and then bring it all the way back. Just that way we would have water for the day. This is something that these people have to do every single day. And this was like the moment that I really appreciated running water. And I changed a lot of my habits. Like, you know, sometimes I used to keep the water running when washing dishes or keep the water running while brushing my teeth. And that's so wasteful when so
Yeah.
many parts of the world
Yeah.
don't have
Yeah.
access to have running water. And so that was just very eye-opening. And I think that that was like one of the most impactful travel experiences I ever had.
I love it. And so great that you got to experience that young. I don't know that everyone has that opportunity. Like I didn't know
I feel
that
very
it
blessed that I
was
had
fun.
those experiences.
Yeah. Angie, any dreams, goals, projects, anything for this year or the
Right
future?
now, my biggest goal and dream is to continue to expand Peru Increíble. And I really just want to provide the most special travel experiences for my clients. I appreciate everyone that comes here and puts their trust in me and my team, and that's my full focus right now. I am just hardcore focused on work and building this company from the ground up. It's been very interesting to start a company when
Yeah,
I've never done that before, and it's a lot of work, but it's totally worth it.
I love it. And you got it because you have a lot of resilience. I already learned that and I love it.
And I'm traveling to Brazil in May, so I'm excited to explore a new country.
Oh, where in Brazil?
Rio.
Rio. I love it. I love it. Brazil is beautiful.
I'm very
That's
excited.
it. It went by so fast. Thank you so much for joining me today. Like I was really like looking forward to this chat and to learning more about you. So thank you so much. I'm going to be also, of course, sharing the links of Peru Increíble and your Instagram so people can follow you and also contact you, because maybe, I don't know, if they want to know a little bit before booking a trip to Peru, to know more about Cusco, or just, I don't know, to know how to travel in an authentic way. Maybe they can just reach out and ask questions,
Thank
get
you.
in touch.
Thank you so much for having me and for, giving me the platform to be able to share my voice, to share a little bit about my story, and hopefully to be able to encourage people to come to this amazing country that you're so lucky to be from. I'm La Gringa Cusqueña. I'm Peruvian in my soul, but I am not Peruvian by blood. My business partner is, though, so it is a Peruvian co-founded company as well.
Yeah.
And it's good that you mentioned that maybe they can reach out. And I wanted to actually mention that we prefer to jump on a call and to build a custom itinerary. That's something that we do. We have preset packages anywhere from 5 days to 15 days on our website, but our specialty is building itineraries that meet your needs and that are custom to what it is that you want to experience. So the best way to do that is jumping on a call, or some people don't like to be on a call, so they prefer to text. I'm happy to accommodate either way, but we like to make things as easy as possible for our clients. So I hope that some of you that are watching this reach out and come experience this amazing culture for yourself.